The White House and congressional leaders in both parties have now agreed on a 2-year budget deal, which also raises the debt ceiling for 2 years. If this passes without any last-minute objections from any side, it would postpone the next fiscal showdown until after the 2020 election. Kentucky Democratic Congressman John Yarmuth chairs the House Budget Committee and joins me now. Well, I'm sure that this was a nail-biter, but do you think it's going to stick? Is it going to hold? We've seen before deals and handshakes where the president then walks away, or there's some objection in the Senate from deficit hawks, or in the House from either deficit hawks or progressive Democrats who think it doesn't go far enough on the spending side.
Right. Well, thanks, Andrea, for having me on.
You bet.
Everything these days is subject to change, and you never know, and you hold your breath. But all the signs are very good that this is a deal that will pass the House and Senate and will be signed into law by the president. And then we still have the process of actually appropriating the money based on these top-line numbers. But the good news is that if this deal is passed and signed into law, then we've avoided a shutdown, most likely. We've avoided default on the nation's debt. And we've given some certainty to the country that we're going to continue to make the kind of investments that are necessary to provide a better economic security for our citizens.
And the president seems on board. There are a lot of reports that Mick Mulvaney was against this deal, the acting chief of staff, and that Steve Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, won the day, and that the president is on board with raising the debt ceiling.
That's what all the signs are, and we know where Mick Mulvaney's been. He's a true deficit hawk. He and the OMB director proposed a budget for the White House this year that had drastic cuts in important domestic investments that are absolutely essential to the future of this country. They raised defense under their budget a significant amount in excess of what this deal provides. So it was a victory in a sense over the Mulvaney interests, and I'm glad that this is the way it happened. Every negotiation we do now is a 5-way negotiation on the budget. It's the House, the Senate, the President, Mulvaney, and Mnuchin. And Mulvaney and Mnuchin and the President are not always on the same page. So it's very, very complicated. It's not even triangulation. I don't know what the word for 5 ways is. But Speaker Pelosi was masterful in these negotiations. And again, I think this is something that nobody's going to be ecstatic about, but everybody should be satisfied that we've averted some very, very dangerous possibilities for the economy, and that we've made investments in the military. We've made significant investments, again, in our domestic economic security mandates, and I think this is a victory for the country as opposed to any partisan victory.
Well, thank you very much, Congressman. I know that you, as the budget chair, have a lot of work still to do, but thanks for everything you've done so far and for joining us today.
Thank you.
And coming